So picture this. It's a snowy December evening, right in the middle of the American Civil War. In a cozy little room, one of the most beloved stories in literature is about to begin. We're going to dive right into the first chapter of Louisa May Alcott's Little Women and see how a pretty simple Christmas problem kicks off this incredible, year-long journey for four sisters.
And here they are, the March sisters, all gathered around the fire. The way they talk to each other, a little bit of complaining, a little bit of comforting, it just pulls you right into their world. And it's a world where their father is far away at war and, well, money is really, really tight.
And that one line, that complaint from Joe, it just perfectly nails the mood in the room. But it's more than that, you know? It sets up the huge central theme of the entire book, that classic, very human struggle between what we want for ourselves and, well, what we should do for other people.
Right, so with their father away serving as a chaplain in the army, the March family is facing a really tough winter. Their mother has suggested that maybe, just this once, they skip the presents. And for the girls, that is a very hard pill to swallow.
Each of the sisters has just $1, and what they want to buy with it really tells you everything about them. Meg, she's dreaming of luxury. Joe, the bookworm, wants this specific fantasy novel. Gentle Beth wants new music, and the little artist Amy, she wants a nice set of drawing pencils. Now, these aren't huge, extravagant wishes, but in their small world, they feel absolutely massive.
To really get this story, you first have to get to know these four young women. Their personalities aren't just little details. They are literally the engine that drives this entire story forward. So let's meet them.
First up, we have 16-year-old Meg. She's the oldest and the prettiest, and she's a little too fond of her white hands. It's a little clue to her biggest struggle. She actually remembers when her family had money, and she is desperate to get back to that life of comfort and ease.
This one sigh from Meg just says it all, doesn't it? She works as a governess, teaching what she calls tiresome children nearly all day, when all she really wants is to be at home, surrounded by all the pretty things she can't have anymore. Her big burden is vanity.
And next, of course, is our fiery hero, Joe. At 15, she's tall, she's thin, and she's just buzzing with this kind of awkward, restless energy. She is brilliant, and she absolutely cannot stand the rules and expectations for a young woman in the 19th century.
You can just feel the frustration in this, right? She says she's dying to go and fight with Papa, but instead she's stuck at home, feeling like she has to act like a pokey old woman and just knit. Her biggest burden, her greatest challenge, is her fierce, uncontrollable temper.
So where does all that pent-up energy go? Right here. Jo pours all of her passion into writing these wild, over-the-top plays. We're talking operatic tragedies full of witches and villains and dramatic heroes that she and her sisters are planning to perform on Christmas night.
Then there's Beth. She's 13, and she is the absolute heart of the family. She's got rosy cheeks and bright eyes, a super shy manner, and this peaceful look that earns her the nickname Little Miss Tranquility. She's always the one trying to smooth over every argument.
While her sisters are all complaining about what they don't have, it's Beth who quietly reminds them of everything they do. Her own burden is a quiet one. She doesn't like her chores, she's painfully shy around strangers, and she secretly wishes she had a beautiful new piano like other girls.
And finally, we have Amy, the 12-year-old baby of the family. She's described as a regular snow maiden with her blue eyes and golden hair. She is incredibly careful about her manners and how she looks, but her biggest weakness, her biggest challenge, is her own selfishness. Amy's complaint sounds a lot like Meg's, but it's coming from a more childish place. She gets teased at school because her family is poor and because she's self-conscious about things like her nose. She feels these little injustices so deeply. Her burden is learning to overcome that selfishness. So just as the girls are lost in their Christmas complaints and their play rehearsals, their mother, Marmee, comes home, and she's got something with her that completely changes the feeling in the entire house. It's a long letter from their father, and it's so cheerful and hopeful. He deliberately doesn't mention any of the hardships or the dangers of war. Instead, it's just filled with these lively stories about camp life and, most of all, his deep love for his family back home. This is the line that lands like a thunderclap. He doesn't just call them his girls, he calls them his little women. He asks them to fight their own personal battles, their bosom enemies, and to conquer themselves. And that one single sentence inspires them to be better people, not for themselves, but for him. And that letter? It sparks an immediate change. The
The girls, who just a few minutes ago were totally focused on what they wanted to get, now shift their entire focus to what they can give.
On Christmas morning, Marmee comes to them with an idea. There's a poor German family nearby who is freezing and has no food. So she asks her daughters, will you give them your breakfast as a Christmas present? And without even a second of hesitation, they all agree, packing up their muffins and cream to bring it to them.
And here it is. This is the perfect answer to that opening complaint about Christmas. The act of giving away their meal brings them so much more joy than any present ever could have. They come home starving, but so happy, perfectly content with just bread and milk.
Marmee sees this amazing transformation in her daughters, and she uses this moment to give them a kind of roadmap for this new feeling. It's so clever. She introduces a game that's going to guide their whole journey.
She connects their new resolution to be good to this old game they used to play when they were little, a game called Pilgrim's Progress. But what exactly is that?
Okay, so it's based on this really famous 17th century book. In it, a character named Christian goes on a long journey from the city of destruction all the way to the celestial city, and along the way he faces all these trials that are really tests of his character. Marmee basically reframes their entire lives as this exact same kind of epic quest.
What Marmee does here is just brilliant, because she makes this huge, abstract idea feel real and personal. She reminds them of how they used to play the game as kids, tying bags on their backs as their burdens, and making a pilgrimage from the dark cellar all the way up to the roof, which was their own celestial city.
And here is her challenge, to play the game again, but this time for real. Their burdens aren't bags of old rags anymore. They're their real-life character flaws. Their journey isn't just through the house, it's through the entire coming year. And just like that, all their everyday struggles now have a real purpose.
This idea, this reframing, turns a simple story about four sisters into this universal tale about trying to become a better person. The March sisters have figured out their personal burdens, vanity, temper, shyness, and selfishness, and that leaves us, even today, with a timeless question to think about. What are yours?